Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AMTZ Podcast Series in collaboration with Medgate Today. Here we bring you conversation with experts shaping the future of healthcare. Today, we are honored to host Professor Y.K. Gupta, President AIIMS Kalyani, an eminent pharmacologist and a leading authority in the field of pharmacovigilance and drug safety. With decades of experience in medical education, clinical research, and regulatory science, he has played a very pivotal role in strengthening drug safety and framework in India. And he is also known as the father of pharmacovigilance in India. Welcome to the podcast, sir.
Namaskar.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here. And it's an honor that, I am able to be with the mentor of my mentor, Dr. Jitendra Sharma. So, sir, as we are talking here today about pharmacovigilance, so if you can just, brief us, what is pharmacovigilance in layman's language?
Thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be in AMTZ. And I feel privileged and honored and humbled to be here. And before I tell you what pharmacovigilance is, I will tell you how the drugs are developed. For developing a new drug, you identify what you call as a situation analysis. You identify a gap for diabetes, hypertension, cancer, pain, XYZ. And then with objective to fill that gap, you do in silico exercise. In computer, you make lots of hundreds and thousands of molecules, and then you're docking, and then you come to a conclusion that this group of drugs would be effective, possibly, and will be safe. With reasonable certainty, you progress to in vitro, and then you do the experiments, and then again you funnel this, and you conclude that with reasonable certainty, these drugs, 10, 20 or 50 drugs will be safe and effective. Then you go to in vivo, rats, monkey, cat, guinea pig, and XYZ animals. And then again, that's called the animal preclinical toxicology or safety studies. Then you conclude that with reasonable safety, these drugs will be effective and safe. Then the next phase comes in the phase 1 trial, phase 2 trial, phase 3 trial, in the larger population, disease population, with inclusion criteria, exclusion criteria, and a specific number of subjects, limited number, maybe 1,000 or maybe 5,000, it's a multi-center trial. And then you conclude that with reasonable safety, with reasonable certainty, this drug, 1 or 2 drugs will be safe and effective. And then you submit it to the regulator. The regulator with the experts, which is called as the SEC, they say, now you have a market authorization here, and the conclusion is, with reasonable certainty, this drug will be safe to be given to the population from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, or maybe from Bombay to Guwahati. And across the country, irrespective of the public who is vegetarian, non-vegetarian, dietary habit, or maybe XYZ variabilities. Now, you might have seen when I said with a reasonable certainty couple of times. When you say reasonable certainty, only certainty is uncertainty.
Yes.
That means when you give these drugs to a wide variety of population, from renal disease to hepatic impairment to genetic difference to the different dose and different dietary habit, then the possibility that you may get new side effect A, or the previously known side effect in different proportion, different severity, different frequency, and you may discover absolutely new type of side effects, toxicity, after maybe even 5 years or 10 years of continuous use. To know this, the new side effect or the possible side effect, is you have to keep a constant vigil on this drug. And that is why it is called as a pharmacovigilance. So what is pharmacovigilance? Is basically to be very observant, do whether this is because of the drug or because of the environment or because of the food or because of the drug interaction or because of the spurious drug or because of the non-effectiveness of the drug, that is entirely called as a pharmacovigilance. And for those who understand Hindi, I will just tell them, just remember one song in Hindi, Ye kya hua, kab hua, kyun hua, kaise hua. This is entire pharmacovigilance. How this reaction has happened,
Yes.
what is the cause of this reaction, what is the mechanism of this reaction, and what is the epidemiology of this reaction. Does it happen in A, B, C, D, or does it happen in 5%, 10%, or 20%, or does it happen in 1 million? Does it happen which can threaten the life, or does it happen which can just is good enough reason to withdraw the drug? That's why the pharmacovigilance is. You might be knowing thalidomide, and it was found that the children born to those pregnant ladies
Yes.
after giving thalidomide were teratogenic.
Yes.
And that was the birth of pharmacovigilance. Even today, there are some people still having those C limb, means C limbs, very short limb. So that is started. Now, in globe, several drugs, and if you remember that a blockbuster drug was rofecoxib, which was the blockbusting drug in the globe, highest selling product, anti-inflammatory, painkiller and inflammation. And what we found that this drug, after millions of tablets were consumed after 5-6 years, people found that this drug can cause increased cardiac event, more heart attacks. And this was then banned in a couple of other countries, but in India we had no such evidence. Probably we did not record it, and then this drug was banned. So in pharmacovigilance, you do continuously risk benefit assessment and the alternate available drugs. So now we have several alternate painkillers available which have a better risk benefit profile, and therefore this drug become obsolete or things like that. In India, we started Pharmacovigilance Program of India, or which is called as a PVPI. We started at AIIMS. I headed that department in 2010. Now, this Pharmacovigilance Program of India, which is called as the ADR, Adverse Drug Reaction Monitoring Centers, through that which collect the data across the country, more than 1,600 centers, the largest pharmacovigilance program of the globe. What we do? We collect the different side effects and different type of adverse effects from the different part of the world, collect it, collate it, and develop a signal that you see this drug can cause this side effect, and therefore, A, that you have to readjust the dose possibly, B, that you have to risk minimization, what is called as a risk identification. You identify the risk. Suppose you are giving a simple aspirin, it can cause severe heartburn. That is a risk identification. Risk assessment. That means if I take aspirin or maybe other drug which can cause severe heartburn and it can cause vomiting, which is serious, that is called a risk assessment. Mild, moderate, severe, tolerable, and need to be withdrawn. And then risk minimization. That means if I say that what is risk minimization, I ask generally public that you take this drug with food or after food so that the risk is minimized. And then if it happens, then how to mitigate that, risk mitigation. So this is called as a RMP, risk mitigation or minimization plan. So that is something which is we do it. This will increase the patient compliance. This will improve the patient adherence. This will reduce the medication error. India, we do not have data, but the US data is available that the admission, hospital admission or prolongation of hospital admission because of the adverse drug reaction are as high as road traffic accidents. And the deaths are so high. If you can prevent these adverse reactions, if you can easily identify this, I think you will end up into rational therapeutics, safer medicine, better outcome, patient safety.
Yeah.
That is what the pharmacovigilance is.
Like how clinical trial happens before the drug is in the market, that how it is reacting to the different human races and different parts of the geography. Does geography play a role here?
Certainly, it can play. And that's why when you do clinical trial, I would not say geography, but I will say ethnicity may play a role.
Yeah.
That's why when you do clinical trial, it is done in the different part of the country. If it is done in US, the drug is approved in US or any other part of the world, this drug has to be done as a bridging study or as a separate study for clinical trial, phase 3, phase 4 in India. Because your gene and my genes may have a difference in metabolizing that drug. So certain patients or certain human, they have a different enzyme for which is called as a fast metabolizer, slow metabolizer, or they have gene which can have major reasons to believe. For example, if there is a drug which is called as a carbamazepine, which is an anti-epileptic drug, very effective, very cheap, but it can cause us lethal Stevens-Johnson syndrome, serious Stevens-Johnson syndrome in some population. We have identified that this Stevens-Johnson syndrome happens only when there is a person who is a specific HLA gene present in them. So, preventive pharmacovigilance or pharmacogenomics and pharmacovigilance is before giving carbamazepine, I will test the blood and see if this person has that gene or not. If this has that gene, I will avoid carbamazepine, and that is how preventive pharmacovigilance can be. Okay. Similarly, there are certain anti-cancer drugs, anti-epileptic drugs, or blood coagulating drugs which have these genetic differences which can have an effect. So, I would say not a geographical difference, but
genetic.
The genetic difference or environmental difference sometimes, and even the male-female, very rare, but that can also happen.
So now that there are so many drugs, vaccines, these are coming in the market. So how long you see, or what is the duration you see that an ADR is getting registered, or how long we should monitor?
Good question.
Yeah.
How long you monitor your child?
Okay.
See, when a child is born, it's considered to be naughty.
Yes.
Right? So the child after 1 year, 2 years, usually parents are very cautious when they take the child to somebody's guest room or drawing room, because he may break the glass, because he enjoys that and is a notorious. His behavior is unpredictable. Similarly, when the drug is introduced into the market, we consider this drug as unpredictable because we do not know how it's going to behave. And that is what legally, this is called as a new drug for 4 years. Okay. It is termed as a new drug for 4 years.
4 years.
And in this 4 years, mandatorily by law, it is required that every 6 months you submit the periodic safety update report. This is called as a PSUR. You see wherever it is being given, what adverse effect it has caused. Every 6 months for first 2 years, and then after 2 years, every 1 year for next 2 years. That means 6 PSUR date reports are mandatory. After that, we presume that reasonable certainty is available with that drug. So, pharmacovigilance starts with the clinical trial itself, during clinical trial. Then after introduction of the clinical trial for 4 years as a new drug for this frequency, and after that a spontaneous surveillance, that means you do as long as the drug is in the market throughout the life cycle. If some drug causes side effect in one place and then you see it other place and then you see it other place, that means you identify that there is a clustering of the side effects happening. Then we collate it, and this is called as a signal. And when the signal is generated, then we, in India, we put this drug under focused pharmacovigilance. Then we ask our centers to please keep a watch specifically for nimesulide in children, what is happening. And that's why a nimesulide, which is a painkiller, we found that this can cause problem in children, and after focused pharmacovigilance, we recommended to the regulator that it should not be given to children. So that is how the life cycle pharmacovigilance is done. Similarly, vaccine is slightly more important, because if a serious side effect happens in vaccine and the person dies, then the entire faith of the community on the vaccine will erode, and therefore it is notifiable. And important thing, you do causality assessment, cause relationship, and if it is because of the vaccine, then you take appropriate action. If it is because of some other thing, then you have to be clarified to the, otherwise a wonderful vaccine will go into disrepute. And therefore this is called as a AEFI.
AEFI.
Adverse event after immunization. That is after immunization. AEFI after immunization. So that is a different way of handling adverse effects, side effects, risk in vaccines.
Like now you spoke about like how the vigilance happens and how it is monitored, now how we get the signal and how it is reported. But can you just let us know like how this process happens of pharmacovigilance? Like who are the people, who are the player involved in it?
You are one of the player. I am a player. The person who is recording this is the player. The pharmacist is a player. The doctor is a player. The regulator is a player. That means the entire stakeholder community which takes medicine, gives medicine, records medicine are the stakeholders. So it is important that people should be aware that if there is some adverse event happens, then you have to note it, then you have to report it, where to report it. That's why the pharmacovigilance program is there. Report them, and then it goes to the center where they collate it, and then see, otherwise it becomes a big noise. The large data of 2 lakh adverse effects we collect is a noise. Noise is a useless unless this is channelized, this is converted into information. So there are 2 important things. One, data, then from this datum is multiple than data, and if you combine this data happening at number of places, then you derive information. This information is not properly useful. You derive from information the knowledge that yes, statin, its information is that this place the statin has caused weakness or the muscle pain. The knowledge is that if statin is given, 20% women more susceptible to this. This is a dose dependent. This is a knowledge. But this knowledge is also not useful unless you develop wisdom from this. That means I know the method of reducing this adverse effect, and I know, as I said, the risk mitigation plan. You apply this wisdom to prevent these side effects. So that is the flow of this. So datum to data, data to information, to knowledge, to wisdom, and I call this as a translational pharmacovigilance. How you convert this into reducing the side effects in the public and the masses.
Yes, so it is more about having the right awareness in place. In your journey from 2010 to 2026, how do you see that the journey of pharmacovigilance has transformed, and what are the things you feel that actually can be brought into to make it more user friendly or make it more easy, available and accessible to everyone?
When we started in 2010 pharmacovigilance with the 10 centers at All India Institute of Medical Sciences, now it has more than 1600 centers and 600 in corporate hospitals, and also the material vigilance which you do with the devices. At that time, we used to submit our data to Uppsala Monitoring Center in Sweden by paying a hefty fee for them, and then they used to give the information and the knowledge after processing it to us for a cost. This was the same situation. Pre-independence, we used to export our kapas, suit, and get the cotton, which was 10 times more expensive, and then we were not. Now, considering the power of this data, the WHO and the Uppsala Monitoring Center has waived off that. Now they are collaborating with us and they are respecting our data. Now we can take decision of our medicine based on our own data. And 150 crore population in India is a massive data which can identify the possible side effect of this drugs which can be applicable to globe. That's why the power of this. The important thing is still the reporting adverse effect is a very, I can say, the tip of the iceberg. 99% adverse effects are not reported because people should be aware of the creating awareness and making the process much simpler. And also it is important that the people should intuitively or by motivation, even at not is not mandatory by law, should report it as their professional obligation. Then this will make better therapeutics. Important thing is also everybody is talking of AI and digitalization.
Yes, I was coming to that. Yes. No, you can please continue.
So that is something very important. Predictive side effects, a predictive toxicology, a predictive efficacy. I think artificial intelligence and digitalization will play a major role.
Yes. So before I come to that AI thing, I also would like to know, do you think that with the given population of India, because we have the ground where we can collect more data, which can actually support a drug to be popular or to be safe, to be known as safe, this becomes, Indian population becomes also a place that, this drug comes for as a testing ground?
We don't make drugs safe here, but we make use of drugs safer. You can't change the drug, but you can change the use of the drug safer. You can have a prediction. Now, that's what the purpose is. So, that's what the ultimate objective is, that if we have the better knowledge of the drug's behavior, then perhaps we can have usefulness of the drug much safer.
Correct. Very rightly. Now, you connected my next question with the AI. So, the drug behavior that we are talking about, do you see with the advent of AI, this drug behavior, or what are the components or aspects of a drug safety, would you see that in pharmacovigilance will become easy?
Yes, you can see the artificial intelligence, the most important thing is developing algorithm. Algorithm is developed from, there are two ways. One is you develop huge number of variable data, and then the artificial intelligence can predict that out of 1000 patients taken, if XYZ patient's characteristic is this, age, liver, kidney and all those characteristics is this, what is the likelihood that the patient may suffer from this adverse effect? What is the likelihood that the patient may not respond to this drug? What will be the possibility of the patient require lesser dose than the normal? So that AI will be useful for that.
Okay.
That is the use. As far as the safer drug development, because we know that today we have to sacrifice large number of animals for the safety assessment. Now, if AI tool can help us just by doing 2 or 3 or maybe 5 or maybe 1/10 of the number of experiments in vitro, in vivo or in animal, or even in a clinical trial, lesser number of human can be used or can be utilized, and then you get a larger and more accurate, predictable information. So, the AI will reduce the time of drug development, will reduce the cost of drug development,
and the number of samplings.
And the time and cost will be dependent on the how samples, what are the things.
So, it will reduce the sampling and the risk of involvement of more lives or animals.
Correct.
Okay, very nice. So, there is another part called materiovigilance.
See, when you talk of a drug, then it is a pharma. So, you call it as a pharmacovigilance. Right? When it is a material, maybe it is a joint or maybe it is a syringe, maybe it is a coronary stent, maybe it is your cataract lens, or maybe XYZ. It is a material.
It's a material.
Right? And if this material is inserted inside the body or it is injected, or whatever it is done, it may produce some reactions sometimes. There may be erosion, there may be corrosion, there may be leaching from the joints, and then it may cause inflammation, it may cause fever, it may require resurgery. I have done surgery here, and after 2 months I have to do resurgery because it is rejecting, because not of the patient, because not of the doctor's competence, but because of the material which is used for this.
Yes.
And that is called as a materiovigilance. Nothing more. Say this is important because you are, as a AMTZ, creating lot of devices.
Yes.
Now, if this device is not so accurately done for safety, toxicity, competence or compatibility, then inside the body it may create lot of problems. And that is important to note so that you can take corrective action. That is called as a materiovigilance. Similarly, if you know, what is heme? You know heme?
Blood.
Blood. Perfect. It's not a tongue twister. So when you inject blood or blood transfusion, then also you might have seen patient developing shivering, patient developing infection, patient sometimes go to renal dialysis, and it may cause severe allergic reactions sometimes, because if it is not matched, even if every precaution is taken, that is also called as a hemovigilance.
Hemovigilance. Oh, wow.
So you can take precaution of that.
Okay.
So if you are giving some biologic agents, then it's a biovigilance.
Biovigilance.
Is anything which is keeping you vigil as a vigilance.
Vigilant about. Yes.
Once upon a time, my wife used to say, "Why are you going to vigilance committee?" It's not a vigilance, it is the... So in a simple layman term, this is called as a medicine safety.
Medicine safety. So, 4 things I learned. So when it comes to vigilance in drug, it's pharmacovigilance, and to do with something with your medical device, which can be an implant, which is materiovigilance. And then we have hemovigilance. Hemovigilance is to do with the blood, and then biovigilance to do with...
I will also tell you.
Yes.
You use which cosmetic you use?
A lot of it.
Lot of it. So if you are using cosmetics,
yeah,
and you might have seen some allergic reaction with some asbestos.
Yes.
Some people put bindi and then they get discoloration of their skin.
Yes.
This is called as a cosmetic vigilance or cosmovigilance.
Cosmovigilance. Oh, that's also there.
Yes.
Is there anything to do with textiles?
Textile? Yes. Not ordinary textile, but when you see the different type of textiles people are using, particularly the nanofibers. The nanofibers are used, nano cotton fiber, used for the military defense people going into very high altitude, and this textile, which is specifically, this is so impervious that it has very less weight, but prevents the heat loss, and then it can be used. Now this is in constant touch with the skin, and therefore this is also to be checked. So, but it's not so commonly done, so it is not a vigilance factor has not come.
Yes, agree.
But you can create any discipline on that.
Vigilance. So, it's very important that, in medicine and medical devices, because it's all related to healthcare. So, it's very important to be vigilant.
But cosmetic vigilance or cosmovigilance is very important segment which is coming
with the given scenario and the generation that we are in.
And the poor quality of the cosmetics, cheap quality of the cosmetics is very common.
It's very common, and it's very alarming as well.
It's alarming.
Yeah. So, yes, soon we will get to know about that also. So, now you see that, with the healthcare after COVID especially, like how healthcare and the patient safety is taken into account, like organizations like AMTZ can play a role to mitigate that.
I think AMTZ has spread its wings at almost all sector of health. I compliment and congratulate AMTZ.
Thank you.
AMTZ created a world-class respirators, oxygen concentrator. I would say the making concentrator is one, Making world-class, accurate, validated concentrator is second thing. And that requires again a material vigilance. If it is saying that it is concentrating 99% or 97% oxygen, what you claim, it delivers that. That is again a part of material vigilance. Because if it contains more oxygen or more carbon dioxide than it claims, that it, then this is other than that ambit. Say if you are producing MRI, say the best part of AMTZ is you produce masks to MRI.
MRI, yes.
Now simple thing is we are putting a mask, and if this mask is Na84 or maybe XYZ, and if it does not filter the appropriate number of impurities or the bacteria and it goes inside, that is against a material vigilance here.
Yes.
So quality is also part of establishing quality is also material vigilance. How it impacts the intended health benefit.
Yes.
That is also part of material vigilance. So you have a concentrator, you have MRI,
CTs,
you have CT,
X-rays.
and everything will require ultimately post-marketing vigilance
and
continuous support.
So that's a continuous monitoring that we have to keep doing.
Continuous monitoring.
So yes, so that's why in AMTZ
it also gives you an opportunity to correct.
Yes, of
to
course.
Improve the device.
Of course.
In case of drugs, to improve the therapeutic purpose.
Yes.
In device,
yes.
to modify, to improve, and to reduce that.
Yes. So we in the society we must have this faith, or we can have this concept that any medical device or any drug that comes into the market, it is to give you some ease, it is for some betterment, and it will always come with some pros and cons. So for the cons, these kind of departments and these kind of activities like pharmacovigilance and material vigilance are into place, right? So we have to trust.
I will tell you one thing more thing.
Yeah.
See, there was a time, and there is still people believe many times, if there is a medical equipment, particularly sophisticated, high-end equipment, they say, oh, this is Indian made. This is Indian made. Why can I get a German made? Can I get a France made? Because can I get a US made? Because I can't compromise with the patient safety. That has to change.
Yes.
Oh, this is AMTZ made.
Yes.
I must buy this.
Yes.
So that can happen only with the confidence on your quality, and that requires continuous material vigilance.
Yes, and that is something that
there's the perception.
Yes,
and the tone of your expression.
Agree that there's a doubt in your tone that it's India made. Oh, it is it is wow. It is Germany.
Oh, yes. And wow.
Yes. So the journey of oh to wow is something that I feel that AMTZ had taken it very seriously, and that's why we have a very a silent campaign that we are doing is India Choose India. It is very important for every Indian, especially doctors, clinicians, to choose Indian products. We are making every effort to, reduce the import dependency, the cost of all Indian products that is there. Pharma has been very successful. Now it is the time for our medical devices, that our doctors should take this chance. And it is not something that, you're taking a chance and you're just using it on the patient. There are small steps that you can take to trust the Indian brand. It's very important. So India Choose India. It's very important. Only Make in India will not help. Indians have to choose India as well, the Indian make as well. So thank you so much, sir, for being here and giving us the motivation and the entire knowledge. And I, coming from a very non-medical and healthcare background, and every time I get to meet experts like you, and I can express the kind of feeling that I get and the kind of boosting I get. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, pleasure.
Namaste.
Namaskar, thank you.